Faith Forged in Fire, where we dive headfirst into the unique challenges and triumphs that comes with being a firefighter, all while exploring what it means to live out a biblical worldview. Join us as we find hope, perseverance, and faith in the midst of the heat and chaos. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Tonight's topic is what firehouse rookies need to know to make the most out of their Mentos time. Oh, mentor time.
Oh, I was going to say, we
Mentos?
don't put it in Coke because they explode. Eat them one at a time.
Would be, yes.
Mentos?
So this was a listener-submitted topic, I do believe.
That you already answered.
Yes, I did. And I want you to know that that response was so off the rails. I went like, so Steve. I felt bad when I hit send. So the question is how to get the most out of your time.
So, to frame this is why we're asking Chief, right? Because Chief this would be like, he would be the guy to ask.
That better not have went away. Where did it go?
Uh-oh.
I scrolled up. Me and electronics don't know. Yeah, so, man, this is one of those topics that could go on a long time, too.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wrote down some things, it could be different between a full-time department and a part-paid department or a volunteer department. So picture you, big city in big city in Michigan.
They've probably figured it out by now anyway.
What would mentorship look at your department compared to, let's say, you're in some town in the UP?
Right.
The town in the UP, that guy's going to need to know pretty much everything as fast as he can know because we need all hands on deck.
In a big city, you're riding backwards for quite a while.
Right.
You're working, so we talk about mentorship, you're going to be working 24-hour shifts with most likely your mentor is how that's going to work because that's the best way for them to work. So you get a lot of time. You're getting paid to be there. I mean, there's other factors. Those are probably the two big things that would come to my mind.
So the one thing I think was trying to get efficiency out of your time, I think is what a little more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I said was it's hard for me to keep, you've been in it for 20 years. It's hard to keep it, on course, kind of like this podcast. It's pretty difficult for us to keep it on course. My one example is if I wanted to go up and started going through hose on a truck or, appliances on the truck, or why is this, why do you have a gated Y on the truck? And because PJ loves wildfires, and we all know wildfires, I might go down the avenue of, I have an 1.5 gated Y to 1.5 reduced down to 1 inch for wildland fires, because now I can drag, we got 500-600 foot of 1.5 on an engine. I can have somebody drag 500-600 foot back into the woods, put a gated Y in there, run wildland hose off from it. I don't have 600 foot of wildland hose, but now I can run an engine water back there and then split it off, a little bit closer for an direct attack.
See, you just derailed because now somebody's going to go, well, what's the difference between wildland hose and regular hose?
So there's an example. So it's easy for somebody, and that's what I tried to explain is it's not necessarily that people do it on purpose, but you get PJ that knows what's going on. It's easy for him to drift because he's got so much knowledge that you kind of have to go, PJ, stop.
Right. Don't worry about that right now.
What I want to know is how to start the pump on the back of the brush truck. I don't care about hose. I don't care about where you get the water. This is what I want to know. So one of my suggestions is to write down a topic. What do you want to learn? And then in my example, just say, I only have an hour. I can do this from 2 to 3, but I have an appointment at 3:30. Now, if somebody does that to me, then I know I only got an hour, and I could talk about this for 5 hours, but I only got an hour, so I need to stay on topic.
Yep.
And if it goes into the next hour and somebody says, hey, I got to get out of here, then get out of here and we can finish it up. But I think staying on topic of what the person needs to learn, but what do they need to learn is another thing.
And sometimes I think that's even more on the mentor, but and maybe writing down, because you're going to, you going off the rails in a sense might prompt 3 other questions that are not what you're talking about right now. But if you're trying to stay on topic, have a notebook, write those down.
Write it down.
So that when you do start covering that topic, you go, oh, I've already got 3 questions.
Right. Yep. So I had set a time limit in a subject.
Mm-hmm.
That helps keep you on course.
Yeah.
And maybe the person is really good at it. Like last week, we talked about the guy that lived across the road from our station. That was a great EO.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be the great guy to show you how to teach you how to run a pump.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was hands down the best that we had at it, and he wouldn't lollygag around with, oh, what's in this? Oh, hey, this is the extrication tools. Did I ever tell you about the time?
Right.
So, another note that I had was, don't forget that you can mentor from a desk. It doesn't, yes, hands-on is the best way, but sometimes sit down and explain to people. Like a good thing to do maybe is like at our station, what truck do you pull for wires down? Pull out the SOG and say, okay, this is on every door.
Right.
This is what trucks to pull. Granted, you might not pull an engine, but if you get here first, you at least know what trucks you could have running or what doors you could have open. And then say, wires down. This is why we take this truck.
Right.
Does this make sense why we take this truck? This is the second due truck. I know that on paperwork it looks like, why would you take that truck as the second due? This is why. Because there's a lot of times, one case is north of the station a mile, we got called to a grass fire. Our protocol is the brush truck goes first. Well, Haley, one of our firefighters, she's coming up Algoma. She's reading the smoke going like, nope, that's more than a grass fire. She jumped in and pulled an engine. Well, as soon as she gets back to the station, she was like, oh, she wanted to explain why she pulled this engine. And I'm like, I didn't think twice about it. I absolutely trust her judgment.
Right.
You pulled an engine, you pulled an engine. I know that you have a good reason.
Besides, it's not the end of the world.
Right. But then she explained, when I was going up the road, I saw black smoke, and I knew that it was more than a grass fire. And I went, perfect. Perfect. So there's...
Well, and that's, again, there's so much to learn in that. Why does it matter that you pull an engine instead of a brush truck? Why wouldn't we use an engine for everything? Why do we even need a brush truck?
But, because brush trucks are much more cool. A Type 6 is so much better than an engine.
We don't have those. I will agree that those are way cool, but the ones we have are not cool.
Well, they can be. No.
They can be. You don't have a cool one.
There's a point example. Let's take this off the rails. Why would you take a brush truck?
Well, that's a good question. Instead of an engine, right? Right. You've got to, because a rookie might not understand that an engine is not going to go in the same places that a brush truck is. An engine is going to stay in a driveway or on a road where, and for us, it'll go at some point, because maybe we can reach some of the fire with it. We can fill with it. But a brush truck is made to ride hard and beat it. And you drive, a rookie's going to ride with one of our guys, myself included, and they're going to second guess their choices of joining the fire department when we get a brush fire.
Because that's that adrenaline you just
because that brush truck. No, it's because that brush truck is going to go.
Right.
I'm going to find. We might clip mirrors going through there, but we're going and people don't understand even that they're shocked for that. Sometimes you even part of that training is setting the expectation even of what to expect
So
for things.
we got one of the engines of the train derailed. Let's derail the other one.
Okay.
What's another major reason that you'd want to take a brush unit to a grass fire? I have a perfect example from a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Got a brush fire. I was out in the medic truck.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled up on scene and went, oh, yeah, we got a good one going. Our engine was the first thing that showed up.
Mm.
How do you get water out of an engine? Stop.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Put it in
yeah,
neutral.
right. You can't move it
pump.
while you're
You can't pump and roll with an engine.
No.
So now we drug 150 foot of inch-and-a-half hose
Right.
out
Yep.
and put the head of the fire out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had to shut the pump down, drain
Yep.
some of the water out of the hose,
Yep.
drive the truck another 75
Yep.
yards down the road, recharge the hose and put it out. Now, how hard do you think it was to clean up the mop up the hot spots?
Oh, horrid.
I don't have the tools on that
Instead
engine to
of
do it.
somebody driving, somebody walking with the hose,
Right.
or somebody holding the hose out the window, a myriad of things.
Yep.
Some I won't mention because OSHA wouldn't appreciate it.
But those are things that
Right,
as a
because
mentor,
it moves, right? And
can-
we don't
right.
we don't think about it. It's so obvious to us.
right? Well, some of us.
Well, right.
So that's something that in the mentorship. But there again, we're talking about the pump on the back of the brush truck. So that's why it's kind of nice to be able to, maybe learn
Right.
some of those things. Even if the brush truck is the topic,
Right.
you could talk about
Right.
those things.
Right. How does it work? How does it
Right.
yeah. What's the purpose? Here's one. What do you guys do for this? And maybe this isn't helpful, but maybe it's showing a rookie like, oh, there's a lot of stuff to think about here. Do you guys start the pump before you leave with your brush truck?
No,
You don't.
absolutely not.
Why?
Because it doesn't recirculate. We have an inlet to the pump. And the only outlet is a nozzle.
Okay.
The pump is not designed to be deadheaded.
Oh,
It is designed to flow
Right.
water. And a lot of pumps
Okay.
are designed that way.
right.
Now you get into the real boys, the DNR and the feds,
Right.
they've got a pipe that if they shut the water flow off at a nozzle, it flows water back into the tank
Okay.
and circulates.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can trash a pump.
Yeah, see, we don't. We've made a different choice. And again, the why, right? So you would need a if I was at your station, I would start the pump because we have a different idea. Our idea is we want to make, but we also have 2 brush trucks. So we want to know that pump is going to run before we get there. Because we don't want to get there and try to fire the pump and now it doesn't run. For us, we fire the pump and get it going. Because if it doesn't, we grab the other brush truck
Gotcha.
and then
Do you leave it run all the way
yeah,
there?
we just let it. We let it run on idle, and
See, now we're getting the train off the rails. This is
Definitely. That's
yeah.
but you got to know what your department does and why, right? That's a great example because that's 2 completely different schools of thought. And you're not wrong with what you're saying. Our chief has a different,
Outlook.
a different outlook. Yeah.
Another note that I had down here is even if you're not you're not the mentor, you're a mentor. Because if I'm mentoring Steve and Steve's hanging out at the station, PJ comes in, got mud all over his boots, he kicks him off in the back of the truck, jumps out and doesn't care. What kind of example was that? So, and that's a Christian value thing too.
Right.
If you're walking around telling everybody you're a Christian, but you're talking smack behind people's backs and you're trying to get Steve to become a Christian,
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not setting a very good example. So, probably difference in EMS and fire also on what kind of mentor you're going to be. Because like for you guys, you could get a new person in for you, and who's going to, you're not going to, well, I guess can't say that anymore. Mike's medical, but you won't have a fire guy trying to mentor a medical person.
Oh, sure. Right. Yeah.
So you got to have somebody that's got some knowledge in the subject.
Right. Yeah, and to your point, really what you want is you want to be able to, maybe you have a mentor in a sense, but then maybe you're mentoring me, but when like you said, when it comes to pumps, you say, hey, we're going to meet up at the station and go over the pump, but Dan's going to be there. Or we're going to meet up at the station and we're going to go over extrication. Mike's going to be there. Some people that have, what we would call a subject matter expert type of thing,
And that's a great way to do the mentorship, because one person, whether they like to admit it or not, isn't perfect at everything.
No.
Nobody's perfect, but I mean, it's always good. Like Mike, when it comes to extrication, is probably the best you got for that.
Right. But I think of things sometimes, or you'd think of something that he might not think of in the moment or whatever, Right. It's just always good to have more people involved.
Steve, what do you look forward to in a mentor?
Oh.
Well, you worked for a big fire department.
I did.
Did you have a mentor that kind of walked you through how to work on SCBA?
Yeah.
You just learned?
No, what's funny?
Those poor guys going into those fires.
Yeah,
I don't know. Steve just said he was figuring it out today. I hope it's all right.
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the story where I was, when I was working on a compressor.
It's all you.
Sorry.
No, it was good. It was good. It was. It's all you. Here we go again. Another Steve story. No, it's the first time I was going to work on a compressor early on, because I didn't know how to work on compressors. Because in the job I had before I worked for the city fire department, I didn't work in compressors. I was an SCBA guy, And so I remember talking to the boss guy at the time, and I'm like, man, like, you had this problem with this compressor. Like, what do I do? And I'll never forget it. He grabs the manual off the thing and goes, read it, figure it out. And I was like, all right.
That's a great mentor right there.
That's a great mentor.
Figure it out.
No, I never, I know. No, I never, unfortunately, I don't think I really, where I worked, I don't think I had a great mentor in any way, but what I love for a mentor is it's someone that's, I think the mentor that I try to be when I mentor, whether it's like coaching kids or something like that, is that I try to, I'm firm, because I think, discipline, like with kids and stuff, but I'm also loving at the same time. So it's kind of like you teach where, you teach, but at the same time, when they make mistakes and stuff, you don't beat the crap out of them about it. You kind of, you correct them,
right?
But put an arm around them a little bit. So that way they're encouraged instead of being like just down on themselves because they're screwing up or whatever like that. So I think that's kind of one thing that I really look at is being, obviously, as a mentor, you're knowledgeable, but doing it in a way where the people will be receptive to you, because I think it's very easy to discourage people if you don't mentor the right way, right? Because then you hear all you hear about is, oh, my mentor was a jerk,
right?
And you don't want to be that guy.
No,
you want to be the guy that's like, man, like, I worked with that guy 30 years ago and I still remember him. He was a great guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I learned so much instead of, well, I was stuck with this jerk. And, I learned a few things, but he was a real jerk about it. I couldn't wait till he retired or whatever.
So speaking of jerks as mentors, PJ walks in and he's assigned to me. I'm his mentor. PJ can't stand me. Doesn't like the way I'm talking down to him. Whatever it is. What do you do in that case? Where do you go with that? You're a new guy. I'm an old dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty obvious. That was like a true story. But what happens if you don't like your mentor? How are you going to handle that? Because you're a new person. How do they say it? Stitches get stitches.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a good
but
question.
My answer might not be the popular one. But I think, and part of it is my biblical background of just
do the best you can,
having patience, and Scripture even talks about submitting to authority. If my chief put him over me as my mentor, then there's some part in which there's that authority. When you said that, I immediately thought of some people that they haven't been a mentor, but I've fought fire with, or they've been an officer of mine over the years. And most people didn't get along with them. You and I would know one that was an officer that most people didn't get along with because an abrasive, I say abrasive personality, but not really. A personality that, I'm the type of person that if I teach you how to do something, I don't really care in the end how you do it as long as you get it done.
Yeah.
Now, if the way I taught you is way faster and this needs to be done quickly, then I care. But ultimately, if you get the same results, I don't really care how you do it.
Yeah.
This person did because it's not the way he would do it.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people struggle with that. And that's why a lot of people don't like people like that. I learned early on, just do it the way they tell you.
It's easier in the end.
It's easier in the end. He's not wrong. He has a lot more experience than I do. And so he yells at me sometimes.
Sorry, it's my phone. Hold on. My phone's
and I say that as in, it's not excusing people yelling, but if you can't be yelled at, don't be in the fire service, for one thing. But, I just, like with him, we got along great because I just early on went, you know what? He's an officer and he's been doing this way longer than me. People complain about him, but I'm just going to do it the way he asks, and life is easier. And I've even had that with firefighters who, they might be more senior than me, not necessarily authority over me, but you get paired up with them and people are like, oh no. And I go, you know what? It's just going to be a lot easier for me if I just do things the way he wants me to do them.
Right.
Instead of fight him all the time. And we get along fine then. And oh, by the way, I learned some things because he has a reason that he does everything that way. And it still might not be the way I do it, but I learned why he did it that way. So that's kind of my attitude with that, is change your attitude.
It does make it a little bit easier in the end.
And I think some of that should be on the chief too, as far as like, I would hope you would know, okay, this person they might have a lot of knowledge, but they don't share that knowledge well. Mm-hmm. But this person will share that knowledge better, so we're going to make them the mentor.
See, we're trying to rotate mentors. Mm-hmm. So you'll have a mentor, one person will be your mentor for a little bit, and then we'll flip to another mentor.
Right.
That way, if Steve isn't teaching you as well, even though Steve knows what he's talking about, you may have the ability to connect with the person even a little bit better. So, and all of my officers would be open to it anyways. If somebody came and says, man, I'm just not, this just isn't working between me and her, them, those kind of deals.
Well, sometimes communication, you just communicate differently and you learn differently.
Well, and I have the luxury of a small station too.
Right.
So communication can be a little bit easier for people.
Right. Just thinking through that, people listening, rookies too, I was saying, you would say this. We've been talking a lot about the mentor side of it, but even I think of that question, what do I do so I'm not wasting time at the station? And you talked about things like list, stay focused, don't get derailed, all those things. But one thing I would say is never just stand around. If you show up for a call and the truck's gone and you got nothing to do, if you're not pushing a broom, which push a broom, but if you're not pushing a broom, go find one of the trucks that's there and go through it. You say, well, I've already been through it. Go through it again.
Right.
Have one of the other firefighters quiz you. Like, one of the best ways you can learn is have another firefighter say, give me this, get me this, get me this, and then you've got to go get it, go get it, go get it. Right. Because the most frustrating thing in the world for a veteran or for a seasoned firefighter, or what we would call, most people refer to them as senior firefighters, but what is the most frustrating thing for us is to send you for something and you to act like you know where it is and you have no clue where it is, for one thing. That's the first. So if you don't know where it is, ask. Before you even leave, tell that firefighter, I don't know what that is, or I don't know where I should look for that. Don't act like you know. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is to say you don't know where it is or you don't know what it is, then that means you are wasting your time at the station. Go up there on your own, learn what everything is and where it goes, and because your greatest value as a rookie is a gopher, and you might not feel like that, but you're going to earn respect real quick. The way I went from being just the chaplain to people saying you really need to go to the fire academy so you can be more help to us was because I knew where everything was on that truck and I could go get anything they asked me to get. Yes. It was that simple.
And that is one of the most aggravating things for me, is to have people that don't really, and I back to that, how I was raised. I lived at the fire department kind of situation. If I had time to go up and go through a truck, I was going through the truck. You know, I was trying to put in my time. And there's not a lot of people that do that anymore. No. So they go off acting like they know where everything is. And then when you say, hey, I need you to go grab this, then it's like, well, I have no clue where that's at. Well, shame on you.
Right.
You should. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to raise the bar to the top of the 4th floor.
Right.
I'm just kind of putting it. This is the minimum. Right. You should probably know where some things are, and when they don't meet that, it just is just so disappointing.
Yep. You're a part of the team. Once you get on, you're a part of the team. So be a part of the team. Get an SCBA. Figure out how it works. Get a mask. Put it on. Even if you're not, you say, well, I'm not certified. I'm not going to wear one for. Learn how they work. And for one thing, then you can help other people. If you haven't been on very long, understand that another one of the easiest things you can do to be a help is be ready when a guy does come out of the fire and his air alarm's going off. Be ready. Know how to change that thing, because that's another frustrating thing is when I'm standing there, well, you're trying to change my pack and you don't know what you're doing. And now I've lost 5 minutes, because if you haven't figured this out by now, any firefighter, if they have an opportunity to be in the fire, guys like, and we talked about that the last time. Yes, there's some people who don't want it, but guys like me, every minute I'm out feels like wasted time that somebody else is getting to have the fun. You know? So like, it's like a pit stop. Like, get it done, figure out how to do it so they can get back in there.
Right.
And that's helpful. Like there's guys, when I come out and I need a change, there's guys I avoid because I know they're going to fumble around for 5 minutes instead of just changing it.
Well, and having a little confidence that you're going to be able to breathe air when you get back
that's
inside,
the other
that
thing.
Can kind of be another issue.
Yeah. So just learning as much as you can on your own. And then it all varies. I used to come up to the station because in your case, you have all dry hydrants. Well, there's another one. Well, what's a dry hydrant? There's so many questions.
Right.
I used to take the trucks out. I used to, for a long time, one night a week. Well, our trainings were Thursday nights, twice a month. So the other Thursday nights, I just knew in my mind that Thursday nights were busy. So if I wasn't at training, I'd come up the other nights and I'd take an engine out. One night would be engine 1, the next night would be engine 2, and I'd go to a hydrant somewhere, and I would draft water with it so that I was proficient at it. I would look at maps and I would learn where the hydrants were. I would, all those things that you need to do to be of value. There's so much you can do on your own. And you say, well, I can't drive the truck yet. That's fine, or maybe you just need to ask somebody to take you out and show you how the pump works. You've got to put some effort forward.
The thing is once you're cleared to drive the truck is not the time to learn the other things.
And in your case, you're not going to clear them until they can prove they can do the other things.
Right. But there's other people's like, why do I need to learn how to do that? I can't even drive the truck yet. And you're probably never going to drive the truck until you learn those things.
Yep. Yeah. So, all right, Steven, what do you got for us? Let's land this thing.
Well, let's land this thing. I will say this, rookies. If you're a rookie, the very
Did you just call me a rookie?
No.
You just looked right at me. He called us rookies.
I'm talking about the rookies on camera here.
Oh, okay.
The rookies, for all you rookies on camera, the most important thing when you get into the station today is going to make that really fresh cup of coffee.
That's slick. That's smooth right there. I like that.
And you want to make your crew happy. If you want to make your crew happy, Start off with a great cup of Red Flannel Coffee Company.
I will give you tons of props for that one,
Yeah,
Steve.
so
that was slick.
Make sure, rookies, all you rookies listening, if you want to get promoted, this is the way to do it. Make sure, first and foremost, go to redflannelcoffeeco.com and get your fresh bag of coffee. Red Flannel Coffee.
He's not wrong. And the paid department, that is one of the first things rookies learn. You better have a pot of coffee on.
Absolutely. So
you might want to make sure that your upline officers drink coffee too.
Well, that's true. That's true. But let's just assuming most of the guys drink coffee, okay? So we make sure to go to redflannelcoffee.com and go to the PJ30 and get 30% off your first order. Boy, everybody would be happy with you when you're making that kind of coffee at the coffee house. You're going to be the hit.
And like we said, if you don't know where something is or what something is, ask. If you don't know how to open it, ask. Because someone here could tell you that by experience, when you just destroy it trying to open it, you will never live that down as a rookie.
Try it before you pry it.
Exactly. Well, if you have any questions that you need to learn about it being at the firehouse, you can also email us at ffifpodcast@gmail.com, and we can help you out with any answers that you need there at the firehouse as well.
It may not be the right ones, but
it may not be the right ones depending on your department, but at least it's a shot. No, make sure that anybody there that has any questions, comments, concerns, you have any prayer requests, you want to learn something, you have a show idea, make sure to go over and email us. And we love your emails. They mean a lot to us. And check
us out on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, find us on Instagram,
please,
all the places.
All the places you listen to our podcast, please like it, and let's get it back out into the stratosphere. Let's get more likes and more subscriptions so we can keep this thing going, man. People keep hearing it. So we thank you so much, and we're going to see you next week.
See you next week.
All right.